can't quite believe what's happened. When you're working on something for so many years and wanting something and dreaming of something, and then finally when it's put on a plate in front of you, or put on a table in front of you, you say, wow, it's really, really surreal. And but okay, I need to get over it very quickly and realise that there's a job at hand here, and enjoy it.
I suppose also you have to think, well, really nothing should change, because what you've been doing this year in particular has been quite remarkable. You want to continue that, but that might be now a little difficult. Maybe expectations of yourself might increase. How difficult will it be just to continue in the same form that we've seen from you this year?
Yeah, I suppose that was always going to be the disadvantage of doing so well. There was always going to be expectations, and even myself, we finished 5th in Corsica. If someone had told me that at the start of the year, or if that had happened before Finland, I would have been jumping around the place. But because Finland set the bar so high for everyone and for me, I won't say disappointed, but Finland just kind of, or Corsica just kind of came and went, and I was just focusing on trying to do better here. So naturally it was always going to raise expectations, but let's see if we can deliver.
Well, let's go back a couple of years, Craig. Obviously, your career has been well documented, and it all kicked off in a blaze of glory. You won in your first year, 2 or 3 titles, British Fiesta title, the Irish Fiestas. You won all sorts of things, and there was progress, and there was obviously the junior championship, as it was in those days. You won that with Jaffa. It then kind of stalled for a bit, didn't it? Did you ever lose sight of the ultimate goal? Did you ever start to doubt yourself? Because you kind of got lost somewhere in the European Championship in a car that kept breaking down. And people started to perhaps forget a little bit about what Craig Breen could do. Did that worry you for a while?
It did. It did in some respects. We were making, things were really passing at a whirlwind speed, shall we say, for the first couple of years, like you said. And, even after the accident, things kept progressing, in the sporting side of things. Of course, that was a bad point in my life. But, at the end of the year, we won the SWRC. And I really thought back then that I was now ready to make this step. In hindsight, was I? It's hard to know. Perhaps these 3 years of difficulties has made me frustrated, has made me really more focused. And when we finally did get the chance this year, it meant that we really grabbed it with both hands and gave it everything that we could.
I think it's a really good endorsement of the kind of route that some young drivers take, which is learning, which is the patient route, which is to make sure that whatever happens when you're rallying, you take something out of it, because you did. In all those times the car broke down, you had 1 or 2 high points. Greece was a great victory in the Peugeot, but there was a lot of negative there, but you always took something positive from it. I suppose any young driver watching what's going on now in the WRC, that's got to be something for them to learn from. The fact that you shouldn't be impatient, you've got to take your time, you've got to learn, and it all adds to that bank of knowledge, that bank of ability.
Yeah, it's you just have to be patient, and never lose sight of what your end goal is. I was chatting with someone, I can't remember who it was, and we were discussing about, you have dreams when you're a kid in school, and, some kids want to be firemen and probably could end up in a fireman, and some people want to be electricians. Then you have the dreamers who want to be astronauts and things like that. Now, I don't know how many astronauts there are in the world. There's probably more than 15 of them, but there's 15 places at the pinnacle of this sport, and I've dreamed of being in one of those places, and I've got one, so I never lost sight of that. I never lost sight of wanting one of those 15 places, and finally we're here. And I know it's because of a lot of circumstantial things, but still, we're here now and we're ready to give it our best shot.
Do you've just contradicted what my next statement was going to be, or question was going to be. I was going to say you have absolutely earned it on merit. But you're saying it's circumstances. I don't believe that. I think your performances this year in Sweden with no experience in the snow, in Finland was utterly exceptional. Corsica, though, one day in that car and you put it in 5th place ahead of established WRC drivers. You have earned that place. Yes, there might be the odd small circumstance, but the majority of the reason for you being there is you have earned it.
Okay, we've taken the opportunity.
We're going to slap you across the face now.
What I mean by circumstantial is, so many people have made so many sacrifices to get me into the spotlight, to get me noticed. I have a sister. I don't often speak about her because no one even knows that she's there, but I have a sister who had to what's the best way of putting it? She sacrificed everything, and I ended up in the golden child, and I got all these opportunities. And my whole family, you know, my mother and father worked their ass off to give me everything, you know, and to put on this show. You know, we had a private team running the car, Tom Gann Motorsport, and a couple of mechanics. You know, my mother inside cooking the sausages, my dad cleaning the car, and you know, we made everything look so perfect on the outside. To try and portray myself in a good light to get myself here. But Jesus Christ, the sacrifices that went in to make that happen, people will never understand. So that's what I mean by circumstantial. I was a lucky boy that I had such a great family around me and such great sponsors and such great friends to put me in this position.
Your father's a special person, isn't he? He's a really special person. I mean, he was no, you know, he was no slouch in terms of a driver in his time, wasn't he? He was a very successful driver. But he's been 100% behind you right from the very start. From the days of karting, he's been 100% behind you.
My dad's been my right-hand man since day one. You know, when he was rallying, he was my idol. I used to do his gravel crew. I was his co-driver in the end. Done a couple of rallies co-driving for him in the gravel championship, which he won. And he comes to every rally. He's the first phone call I make at the end of a day or after every couple of stages. I give him a shout, and you know, your dad's always your dad, you know, and we've never lost that. He's never tried to be anything but my dad. He's always looked after my best interest, and, you know, it's something that I really cherish a lot.
That's interesting. He's never been anything but my dad. Because a lot of people will look around the service park over the past years, never mind the current service park, but over the decades of rallying. And, you know, there have been a lot of very, very... there have been dads with character, forceful dads in the service park. And some people would suggest that some of the dads around the service park have been too forceful, and sometimes it can become a bit of a hindrance. That's never ever been the case with your family, in particular your father. He's always known where the boundaries are, what he should be doing, and where the encouragement is needed.
To be fair, he got good practice, and ask him about his karting days. You ever hear of a karting dad or a football dad or something? Well, my dad was the ultimate karting dad when I was karting. And I remember that the last day I did my kart race in Wilton Mill in the UK. He always said after, no matter what you do from now on, I'm just here as your dad. I'm not here to, because when I was karting, he was pretty tough on me now, I have to say, and it was probably why my karting went west a little bit. But at the end of the day, that was fantastic because it meant I started rallying and it meant I've ended up here. So thanks, Dad, for being a bit of a a bit of a chip on my shoulder for all those years when I was kart racing. But now he's the best in the world.
So you've got this opportunity now, Craig, and it's the most remarkable opportunity. Tell me what you would like to be able to achieve next year. There's obviously a couple of big rallies for you to do this year, this one and Wales Rally GB. But what is the aim for next year? What will we see from Craig Breen next year?
Okay, the goalposts constantly move and constantly change. You know, I was hoping for a podium towards the end of next year. That was kind of what I was hoping for when this whole thing started, if I was to get an opportunity next year. We got the podium in our, whatever it was, third or fourth rally, and then the goalposts moved. So I really think that we can fight for a victory on some of the events next year. Of course, not every rally. There's some events I haven't done before. You know, the long hauls I've not done before. Sardinia I've only done once in an R2 car. You know, these things you know I need to learn. But you know, I'll be going to Finland now for, I don't know, 7 times, 6, 7 times, maybe more. Okay, that's probably one of the more difficult ones. But Corsica will be maybe 6 or 7 times. You know, these are events that I know well, and there's no excuses anymore.
Finland you made look very easy this year, I'd have to say. It was done with remarkable calmness. What about, you talked there about rallies that you haven't actually done. That's quite astonishing, to be totally honest with you, for a full-time factory driver. Okay, we had Camely this year in a similar position, I suppose, but he's done most of the events. There's quite a number of events in the calendar you haven't done, Australia being one of them. Any decisions on whether you might go to Australia this year to do the recce, perhaps? That would probably stand you in reasonable stead for next year.
No, it doesn't look like it. No, I mean, poor mammy and my sister are over there at the minute. I should really go over and pay a visit, but I'm not going to go over this year. Unfortunately, I've got a lot of testing coming up with the 17 car, and we're just really busy this time of the year. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but look, I'll have to just get my WRC Plus out and watch everything over and over again, and you know, try and learn as best we can.
Really, just the most remarkable week or so for British and Irish rallying. Really for junior drivers, if you like, younger drivers. Let's not call you juniors, you're not juniors anymore, but younger drivers in the championship. Yourself, Stefan, and we can expect, I think, 1 or 2 more announcements about young drivers in the coming weeks. Craig, the most fantastic news. It did brighten my day, I'd have to say. Probably brighten my week, perhaps year. Fabulous news. All the very best of luck.
Thank you very much, and thank you from the bottom of my heart from all the support, not only from you but from everyone. I've had so many texts and calls and emails, and it's really flabbergasting, for want of a much better word than that.
That's a good word.
Yeah, it's humbling. That was the word I was looking for. But thank you, genuinely, thank you so much.